When I had been in my darkest moment, I happened to read The Power of Now. What Eckhart Tolle had to say about happiness had been the impetus to go on this journey. I was in Vancouver to meet him. You were there on a park bench for 2 years, and you slept on the park bench?
Rarely, but I did spend most of the days on park benches in parks, different parks in London.
Did you eat 3 meals a day?
No. 1 meal a day if I was lucky.
Oh.
As you sit here, is it possible for you to simply watch what's happening around you without adding any interpretation to it? To just be present with what is. Then you get a taste of what it's like to be on a park bench with nothing further needing to be added to this moment. The sounds, sights, people, sound of the water, the light. Just allow it to be as it is. With that comes peace. You don't get continuously drawn into events and thoughts and emotions and reactions. You're the wider space in which all these things happen. You're the awareness behind it, without which none of this would be here. It would just be atoms and molecules in space. You are the awareness that enables this entire world to be. And so knowing that that is who you truly are, not through a concept, but through the actual realization of stepping back and allowing the phenomenal world to be as it is at this moment. Allowing this moment to be as it is. That takes you deeper into yourself. And you may notice there's a certain peace in the background that happens. An alertness is required for this. You need to stay alert to what is, to sense perceptions and the energy behind sense perceptions, which is the consciousness. The alertness. It's there. Without the alertness, you will drift off into thinking. And then you think about the next, what's going to happen to me tomorrow. There is a place for making plans, but not right here on the park bench. This isn't the place for thinking about tomorrow, because you miss all this beauty and aliveness around you.
And then you're cold. Not to even think about it as a cold.
No, it just is. The sensation of it. Don't even need to call it cold. And then that's okay too. It's okay. The reactivity goes out of life. Always against something, of wanting to clutch at something.
What about the search for meaning?
Now, you notice that just a moment ago you were in that state of alert presence, and it never takes long for another thought to come in and ask a question, because thought cannot tolerate the state of presence. So it will always come in and say, yeah, but what about, I don't quite understand yet. Can you tell me, what does it all mean? So it wants to add something. It wants to control in some way by understanding what this all means. Now, if you can let go, just for a moment, not for the rest of your life, just for this moment, let go of the need to understand anything, so that you're truly present in this moment. So you don't need to do it for the next hour or the next 10 minutes, just right now. Just what is. But don't forget yourself, because you are the consciousness behind it. You are the space, the presence. Can you feel that your body is alive?
Yeah.
So stay with that feeling and then perceive. It's easier to perceive without interpretation when you can feel that your body is alive. You feel the inner aliveness throughout your body. So some of your attention is there. The rest is on the outside world. That roots you in the present moment. It anchors you in the present moment. And if a thought comes into your mind, you can watch that also, just the same way as you watch a dog walking past. You can watch a thought arising in your mind, and you don't have to follow it to where it wants to go. So you simply watch the thought that arises in your mind and let it go in the same way that the dog walks past you. Or if you choose to, you can follow the thought, and then you can say, I just thought of another question. You can do that too. But to see the possibility that also in the same way that you observe the outer world here as you sit on the bench, you can also observe the inner world, the world of thoughts and emotions. Thoughts want to arise continuously, and that's fine, that's what they do. But there's no need to get drawn into each thought that arises and immediately go with it to where it wants to go. Otherwise, you're always following every thought, like a dog following the scent.
Does it matter which?
No, it doesn't matter. You can experiment. You can experiment with thought. You can follow some thoughts, and you can watch other thoughts. You find out for yourself. You can play. You can see that you are bigger than your thoughts. You don't have to be dominated by your thoughts, because thoughts create lots of problems too, unnecessary problems, and they can obscure the aliveness of life at this moment. There are many people walking around here who are thinking about other things. So they're thinking about the next moment, they're thinking about tomorrow. But this is not the place for that. There is a place for planning and thinking about tomorrow, but why spoil the beauty of this and the aliveness of this with thinking about the next moment? Is that going to be better than this one? This is it. It's not going to get that much better. This is what could be more beautiful than this. It's the awakening of something within you that is deeper than thought. That's really the main thing. And that's already there, you just didn't know it.
Why didn't I know this?
It's a deep-seated habit of being totally identified with thinking. It's the human condition, which could be described as lost in thought. Because up to now, evolution has been unconscious. It was automatic. But now evolution is consciously chosen by a species, and that's a revolutionary thing. And you are part of that.
So I can still make movies, I can still have a girlfriend.
Oh, yes.
Even if I'm conscious.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's a playground. You play around with the world. You take action, you relate, but you're not lost in it. Most humans are lost in it.
What about pain? I mean, physical pain or emotional pain of losing someone?
Most of the human pain is psychologically created. There's an enormous amount of psychological pain, suffering, I call that. When suffering goes, and there's a possibility for humans now to live without suffering, that is the possibility. There may still be some physical pain. It may be that you get toothaches, or bodily pains from time to time. Suffering is another level that lies on top of the pain. Suffering implies a story, a little me that is unhappy, a mentally constructed entity, a little me that has an unhappy story that is its identity. And that creates an enormous amount of suffering. Not only do you make yourself suffer, you make people around you suffer. To be at one with life is to be at one with the present moment, because that's the only place where life can be found. You cannot leave the space of now. That stays with you, whatever you're doing, wherever you go. Your life has never been not now and will never be not now. Are you making the present moment into an enemy some way, internally, through thinking about something that's nothing to do with now? I need to figure something out. Well, first of all, be here fully, and then whatever is needed in your life comes. It comes out of the power that dwells in the present moment, that most people overlook. There's an enormous power here, which is the power of life itself. And most people look for something and ignore this. And the power of life itself is inseparable from who you are in the depth of your being. Many times you will forget. But the moment you realize that you forgot, there's the possibility of saying, yes, I lost the present moment. And there's the possibility of choosing to re-enter the present moment. The first thing that happens when you re-enter the present moment, you become more aware of sense perceptions. You suddenly, there's a greater alertness. And then you become more aware of the aliveness in your body. You feel the life within. It's like the entire vibrational frequency of your body shifts when you become present. It's a different state of consciousness. More alert, more alive. And many times you will lose it. And then you'll remember. That's good enough. Now then, don't believe the mind when it tells you, you can't do it now, you've got too much on your mind, you can't be bothered with the present moment. Yeah. Those are just thoughts. There's no need for you to follow those thoughts. Just watch them. They're thoughts that the mind throws up. You don't need to believe in them because they're not true. When the mind tells you, you can't be present now because you've got too much on your mind, then you can say, let's see if that's true. And then you feel, there's an aliveness in my hand, there's an aliveness in my body. There's beauty all around. And you become present again. The alertness returns. And when there is time to think. Then you sit down and say, let's think, what plane am I going to catch tomorrow? What time do I have to go to the airport? What do I have to do now? Pick up the phone, make a phone call? Fine, that's beautiful. You're not losing yourself in future. That's practical matters. And once you've done the practical matters, you've planned your next week, then you come back to the now. The inner transformation is not really about finding lots of answers to your questions, but finding a new relationship to thought, where not every thought seduces you anymore. And if a beautiful girl runs past and you find yourself following her, you don't have to think, I shouldn't be watching this girl because I'm spiritual now. No. If you can let go, just for a moment, not for the rest of your life, just for this moment, let go of the need to understand anything so that you're truly present in this moment. Just right now. Just what is. But don't forget yourself, because you are the consciousness behind it. You are the space, the presence.